What is going on, Melhead? Welcome back to Broncos Country News. I'm your host and anchor, Caleb Malden. So today is going to be a little bit of a different video. I have taken it upon myself to try to decipher what has gone wrong with this offense. Because I, just as everyone else, is a little frustrated with the offense and their inconsistencies. They've shown flashes, they have the potential and the talent, but they haven't quite put it together. So what is holding the Broncos offense back? So I went back and I looked up, I watched QB School, I watched Brett Coleman, and I watched Cody Roark. Check all those guys out. They do film breakdown stuff, especially QB School and Cody Roark. They are excellent at this. And Cody Roark, who especially just studies the Broncos, and he did an excellent job. And I got a lot of notes, guys. I got a lot of good stuff for this video. I was really paying attention. I was writing down everything I could. So let's get down to see who is truly at fault and what can be done to fix it. So I broke down Drew Lock's games against the LA Chargers last week. I broke down his game against the Chargers last year in his rookie debut. I broke down his game against New England. I broke down his progression at the end of last year against teams like Oakland, when they were still the Oakland Raiders, and Detroit. I broke him down against... I also did break down a bit against the Falcons, so here's what I've come up with. So, play calling needs to be more aggressive on third down. The Broncos do not attack the sticks enough, and that's on Pat Shurmur. Attack the sticks. You have the talent, you have the receivers to do it. You can attack the sticks, and you can do it. Now, against the Chargers in the first half, and even though it looked bad, if you really watch that tape, and I recommend watching Cody Roark's video, Drew Lock was simply taking what they gave him. And the Chargers played terrific. They played 4-2-5. They played a too-high safety coverage. They did a great job taking away the sticks on third and long. They made sure if you want to beat us, you're going to have to go deep and take shots that are not great. And a lot of the shots that Locke could have taken, they weren't just flirting with disaster. That's taking disaster out on a third date, as they say it. It's pretty much putting the ball in harm's way, daring the defense to go get it. Can't do that with pro safeties in the NFL. So he did his best not to make too many reckless throws. There's times to be aggressive and there's time to not be. And now, he is better at reading safeties than he seems, because most of the time he does seem to spot that the too high safety coverage, they're going to do their best to take away Judy and Sutton. They're going to take away those deep over the top routes, and they're going to do everything they can to force Drew to play underneath, and he can only take what they give him. So, but one thing that the Broncos did do with RPOs, one thing RPOs that I noticed when taking my notes, Jerry Jeudy is great at them, and he takes advantage of the one-on-one very, very well. So the Broncos need to do that. Design RPOs with Jerry Jeudy going one-on-one, because he seems to show off his skill set with those. Now, Locke, granted, does have his problems in that when his feet are not set, one of his biggest criticisms coming out of Missouri was that he relied on his arm a little too much, and his footwork would break down, and bad things would happen. And he does do that sometimes. There are times where he leans too far and he throws off his back foot when he shouldn't. I don't know why. And one perfect example to look at is against Atlanta. He did that a lot. Now, after really breaking down the Atlanta game, Locke had a really hard time getting any kind of sense in the pocket. They were in his face constantly. People were saying Drew needed to step up in the pocket. Well, if you watch the game, actually, the Falcons did a really good job of pushing through our centers and guards. They made sure, now I don't like it when Drew Lock bails out of the back, but the Falcons force him to do it. They're like, hey, you want to get out of the pocket? You got to do the one thing you don't want to do. And he looks so uncomfortable doing it, which is A, good defensive scheming. They knew what Drew Lock was not comfortable doing. And B, it was not good play by the offensive line because Drew Lock couldn't bail. So that is one thing I could give Drew Lock and Pat Shurmur, is that since the offensive line was having so many breakdowns, especially because both our starting guard and starting right tackle were out, we had Schlottman and Jake Rogers in, it took away a lot of options that we usually could have run. And especially took out the run game, in which helped our offense in no way, forces to be one-dimensional. But when his feet are set and his mechanics are down, his ball placement is great. Watch his tape against New England. The ball placement is great. This is why I don't like just people who look at the box score. Stats don't lie is a common saying, which is both true and not. Yes, stats do tell how a player did on any given day, and sometimes they can be an indicator of how good and how bad they're playing. But if you watch the tape and you compare with the stats, you're like, so the play is sometimes better than the numbers indicate. Or sometimes the numbers are better than what the play indicates. they don't always correlate. And I think that New England game is a perfect example of numbers not telling the whole story. And if you look at the play, Drew Lock's ball placement was fantastic. I took some notes. His play calling was actually pretty aggressive, a little too aggressive at times. The placement was really good on what they call red line routes, which is where you put it where only the receiver can get it. Drew seems to be really good at that when throwing to Albert O or to Tim Patrick. And he did a great job with some sound mechanics. And then going back to the Charger game, people do say that there was a lot of garbage time stats. They use that to compare, especially when it comes to the Falcons game and against prevent defense. That's actually not that true if you look at this. If you look up the film and you do what I did, and you study and you do some basic look at football terminology and look at study defenses. The Chargers actually were not running a prevent defense. They were actually doing what was a smart mechanic. Now, prevent defense is supposed to be designed for offenses to take away deep shots. It's designed to take away any aggressive plays, force the offense to play short routes and eat clock so they can secure a win, which usually should work. But if the team has good clock management, they can take advantage of it, which the Broncos did. And the Chargers, prevent runs out of 3 different packages. They run out of nickel, quarter, and half dollar. Usually this is when you run only a 3-man rush with maybe 1 or 2 linebackers and then 5 to 7 defensive backs. This is when you're putting all your stock into coverage. The Chargers were actually running a lot of 4-2-5, which is where they would have 4 down rushers, they would have 2 linebackers, then they'd have 2 linebackers, and then you would have you'd have 3 corners and 2 safeties. That's 5 defensive backs, but that was in the first half. That's not prevent defense. They ran that only on 3rd and long situations, designed to prevent the Broncos from getting a first down. They actually ran a lot of dime. That was a huge coverage thing. And again, if you look, they actually did a lot of 4-man rushes. They had 2 linebackers, especially when they were sending Ingram up the middle. And also wasn't garbage time because the Broncos came back and won the game. Garbage time is when you're down like 42-10 and there's no chance to win. Same with the Falcons. I don't really consider those garbage time throws because the Broncos had a chance at the end. They had a shot to get back in the game, and they did get back in the game. So those aren't garbage time stats. The Broncos had a shot. Those were legitimate time minutes. Garbage time is like 42-0 in the 4th quarter with 8 minutes. Like, okay, no shot here. Let's just do whatever. But regardless. And Atlanta was running some similar concepts. They were running some similar defensive packages. They did run a bit more prevent defense than the Chargers did, but the prevent defense was not as prevalent as you would think. The Chargers were just trying to prevent the Broncos from getting deep first downs, and Drew Lock, to his credit, took advantage of it. So they were running a lot of, so they didn't run too much nickel or quarter or even half dollar defense. They ran a lot of dime, and they ran a lot of cover 3, which is a risky move, and the Falcons did that too. And Dan Quinn, if you know anything about Dan Quinn's system, they ran cover 3 zone a lot, and the Falcons were terrible at that. And the Falcons went back to that in the 4th quarter, which is why Drew Lock was able to get off some good throws. I don't know why they went back to cover 3 zone. The Chargers did a similar thing, which is where they would play a lot. They'd have, again, that 2 high safety coverage, but then they would have their guys go into zone, which is why if you watch that Jerry Jeudy and the Deshaun Hamilton touchdown, they were able to break through easy on the secondary. And I don't know why you wouldn't just have your guys try to stick on that one man, because then you could have your linebackers stay back and you have your safeties play that 2 high safety coverage and you can prevent the first down. But regardless, so looking through all the film, and one thing Drew Lock is really good at is on-the-fly decision-making. He makes really good throws on the run. He adjusts very well. If you watch the Raider game last year in Week 17, or if you watch the Charger game this year, like that nice little dump to Deshaun Hamilton or to Cortland Sutton, or even some of the plays against the Patriots, he makes some really good on-the-fly decision-making. He's pretty good at that. He seems to adjust well. He knows how to keep the play going. And the up-tempo play calling clearly plays to his strengths. It clearly, when they're slowing down, Drew is not really that comfortable, and neither is the offense. The system that Shurmur likes to run is clashing with what the Broncos have as an identity. Clearly, the Broncos have some strengths, clearly both in the run and in the pass, but Shurmur's system is not adjusting to it. And again, with Drew Lock, his mechanics, when they're sound, they're excellent. His ball placement seems to be really good. He throws off his back foot way too much, and I think he needs that's fixable. It's fixable. Throwing off his back foot way too much, it's fixable. His decision-making, for the most part, is pretty good. He seems to know where to get the ball. He seems to know who to place it with. Sometimes it just falls incomplete. Sometimes the defense makes a play. You live with it as a quarterback. You live with it. He seems to have good progression and chemistry with some of his receivers. Obviously, he's still learning with some of these guys, as some of them are rookies. One thing that the Broncos do need to improve on is the interior pass blocking, because it's clear when that interior rush comes, Drew Lock has to bail at the back, and he does not like doing that. It's clear he's uncomfortable. It's clear that's when he falters. So the Broncos need to do that. They need to take more advantage of the one-on-ones, because they have receivers that can take advantage of one-on-ones. So, Drew Lock also seems to be pretty good at reading tight windows. He seems to do a good job at fitting the ball in good locations. When Shurmur's play calling fits to Drew Lock's strengths, the offense runs extremely well, and especially when Drew Lock is good. When the play calling is off, the offense is out of sync, Drew Lock looks uncomfortable, the O-line is out of sync, and everything goes wrong. So, what I got from the film is this. Contrary to what you see in the comments section, and this is just, again, what I got from my notes when I watch the film, and I look at the tape, and I really try to break it down, and I evaluate it, Drew Lock can be a really good quarterback. He can be great. They just need to learn how to utilize the system and fit his strengths. They need to take the handcuffs off and let Drew run it. I've been pounding the table for that the last 3 weeks, and I think the Broncos need to start hearing that. Let Drew Lock cook. Let him run the offense the way he's comfortable running it. Keep that up-tempo pace. Keep the play calling good. His mechanics will come in time. And as much as Bronco fans hate hearing this, patience is vital. It is vital in this offense. Drew Lock obviously does have some mechanics to improve on. He isn't perfect. Obviously, he makes mistakes. But I do think the play calling is the main issue. I'm just saying based on what the tape says, that when the calling is custom to Drew Lock's strength, and if you saw, there was a tweet that came out this week that's been floating around that said, it appears that there's a clash of systems, that when the offense does what Pat Shurmur wants, it doesn't work, but in the second half when they do what Drew Lock does, it runs great. And the Broncos have a chance. I think the Broncos have a path to success, and they need to use it. And I'll put all the links to all the videos I watched to get these notes. I think the tape is not lying right now, guys. Drew Lock could be a very good quarterback, and I still believe in Drew Lock. But they need to cater the offense to his strengths, as any offensive coordinator should. Cater your offense to fit your quarterback's skill set, what he does well, and what he doesn't. In some ways, coordinators have to protect their quarterbacks from their own flaws so that their offense can move more efficiently and that the quarterback will play better. It's what good coordinators do. Look what Bieniemy and Reed do for Patrick Mahomes. The path to success is there. They just need to take it. This is my analysis on Drew Lock, guys. I believe in our quarterback long term. And patience is vital with this. And I know that's not what fans want to hear, but it's important to say. Drew Lock being benched won't help anybody. I'm sorry. You're ride or die with him at this point. You have to ride or die with him. And this is not about Drew Lock's dancing. This isn't about swagger or anything like that. This is just basic football. This is just what we're seeing. So, in my opinion, when evaluating our quarterback and our offensive coordinator, trust the tape, trust the numbers, trust what they say. If you guys want more proof, check out the tape for yourself and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe you think differently than me. Maybe you feel the same. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below based on the tape. I still believe in Drew Lock long term, and I think the tape shows that he's better than the numbers show. He's better. He plays good, and that if Shurmur will just let him play, this offense could be incredible. Because we have talent and we have potential. The Broncos have a key to success, just need to unlock it. At this point, in this season, I don't even care about making the playoffs anymore. I just care about progression. I know that's odd to say. I just want to see progression out of Drew Lock. Super Bowl playoffs were a bit of a long shot this year, considering how young the offense was and how jilted the offseason program was, so you have to give us that. But if Drew Lock and the offense can get better, then next year looks so much brighter for this unit. And I guarantee you it'll get better. I promise you guys, stick this out. Ride this out. This team will get better. It will get better. By the way, I just want to say a quick prayer and recovery up for Albert O. Tearing his ACL, which sucked because he was looking really promising. Another key injury on the Broncos, guys. Just can't catch a break this year. speedy recovery and prayers up for Alberto. Anyway, guys, this is my opinion on Drew Lock and the offense, what I think needs to be fixed. Obviously, I think we need to switch to a more up-tempo system. I think that there needs to be some adjustments to Drew Lock's skill set. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Look out for some more videos coming this week. Please be sure to check out my Between the Numbers Football podcast. I will have an episode coming out later this week. Hopefully either Thursday afternoon or early Friday morning. That's my opinion for the BCN Football podcast. I'll leave the links down in the description below where you can find the podcast. Also, be sure to check out my blog. I'll have a written extension of this video with more in-depth detail stuff up very, very soon. Anyways, that's it from me, guys. Broncos Country 303. I'll see you guys later.